G'day, welcome, I'm Steve Hay and welcome to the wonderful world of woodworking with Carpetech. Today we're going to be covering veneering. Okay, how to put it on. There's several ways you can put it on. I prefer using a veneer hammer. That's quite a big one. You can buy them if there are any around, or you can make them. I use, this was an over the top one I did years ago. It's got ebony, Coca-Cola and brass in it. I like using brass for the blade. Here's a really, really basic, simple one that I made. Here you go. 3rd of October 2005. And all it is a bit of timber. I ran it over the saw. I put a piece of brass in there for the blade. That brass on the front does absolutely nothing, it's just decoration. I got a piece of dowel, drilled the hole and wedged it, and that works absolutely fine. It's not as pretty as that one, but it does the job. So stay away from steel if you can, because there are certain timbers that will react with the ferrous material in the steel. In the iron, one comes to mind particularly is oak, because the tannin in the oak will react to the ferrous, chemicals in the steel, in the iron. And when you go like that, you've actually got water going between the veneer and the metal, and it will go black and it will ruin your day. Brass, I've never had a problem with, it's fairly inert. Copper I have used, but just there's a tinkling in the back of my mind. There is a drama with some timbers with copper, and you can get it green sometimes, which again doesn't make for a perfect day. Another thing I use a lot of is baking powder. I'll get it right one day. Baking paper. The reason I like it is it's stronger than greaseproof paper, and glue doesn't stick to it. And I buy it in commercial rolls like that. It works absolutely fine. Now, I'll do a hide glue up first. This is hot hide glue. You can see the steam coming off it. What do we put on there? That's pretty close. Okay. First things first, which is up, which is down. That's bendy. This is the part I'll put down. So I'll draw pencil over that. I like, in everything I do, I like double gluing. Okay, so I've covered that in glue. Just make sure you haven't got any high spots like I've got there, because I must have some rubbish on my brush. So that's been glued. And then I also put glue on the veneer. You've got to be reasonably quick. Now, grain's running that way, so I have to lay this way. And with the veneer hammer, I have it so the counterweight's out the front, start in the middle, and then in chevron motions. And what I'm doing is really creating a press by taking any air out between the two surfaces, and then that lets atmospheric pressure work on it, and atmospheric pressure I think is around 14.5 pounds per square inch, which is pretty heavy press. And there you have a piece of veneer laid down nice and flat. What I'll do is I'll do another bit. You can, sometimes I would put that in a press for safety, but if you look at that, it's not lifting or anything like that. That's one thing I found doesn't happen with PVA glue as well. There's a couple of areas where hide glue has it over other glues. It works on a couple of different fronts. First of all, when it cools, it shrinks. So that was 70 degrees Celsius, yeah. And soon as I put it on, the coolness of the plywood and the veneer bring the temperature down. So when the temperature comes down, it shrinks. As it shrinks, it pulls the veneer onto the plywood, which is one good thing. And in fact, if I don't know if it'll work. There you go. See how quickly that sticks? Quite well. You can eat it. It doesn't taste very nice, but it won't kill you. And the other thing is, over a period of 12 hours, 24 hours, the moisture will evaporate, which also gets the glue to shrink and stick down. The thing I do love about hide glue is if I wanted to pick that up, as you can see, it's sticking pretty well now. But if I wanted to lift that, all I've got to do is get a heat gun, put a heat gun over it, which softens the glue, and I can peel that off. Very hard to do that with a lot of PVAs.